Hey folks, Jerome Forestwood here. It is 4:06 p.m. on February 25th, 2023 in Grandview Woodland, British Columbia, Canada. It is minus 1 degrees outside on a snowy afternoon in the city. In this video I walked for 2.8 kilometers starting by the Transit bus stop at Commercial in North Grandview, then strolled north on Commercial, crossed the street at Napier, and then returned south along Commercial and east along East Broadway, ending my trek at TransLink Bus Bay of Commercial Broadway SkyTrain Station. If you would like to support the channel and help me purchase some new equipment, click the heart icon to send me a super thanks. To receive updates, follow me on Instagram at jforestwood. And if you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button, share it, and subscribe. Thank you. Hey folks, Jerome Forestwood here. We're currently at the intersection of Commercial Drive and North Grandview on the Drive, or Little Italy, in East Side Vancouver. It's about minus 1 degree right now, and we're just going to stroll around the drive and then come back down to catch the B line, UBC B line, back to UBC, of course. There is a little bit of light snow right now. Yeah, so that's what it is. Crossing East 7th Ave right now, and continuing to head north on Commercial Drive. So we'll go up north on Commercial Drive a little bit, and then we'll turn around and come back south on the other side. And this is a mix of a hipster neighborhood, a working class neighborhood, and there's an affluent aspect to it as well. And a lot of people come to the drive to enjoy the restaurants and the bars, but of course there's other things here as well, like grocery stores and different services that are available for the locals that live around here. Because of course if you would live around here, you'd be coming to the drive for most of your stuff. Passing one of our local produce stores and the JJ Bean. That always seems to be full. Oh. Okay. And now we're around East 5th in Commercial Drive. I might be off by 1 East Street, but we'll find out. Okay, let's cross. This area, of course, is also known as Little Italy, which is similar to the Greek town in Kitsilano. There's a lot of Italians who settled in this area in and around the war, and after that as well. You can see a major influence if you keep an eye out here and there to see Italian restaurants. And if you go over to Clark Drive, there's wholesale Italian restaurant supply stores that also supply like ingredients like giant vats of sauce and pasta and all that stuff. So yeah, you can find all that stuff here. Of course, this is one of the local auto shops, VAP. So this might be a place you bring your car if you happen to live around here.
So
Looks like the snow is starting to pick up a bit, so well, enjoy the snowflakes. Coming up to a grounds right now. It's another one of those cafes. And of course, Nepatala, a pizza joint, and a creamery, and Sushiville. Look at that. Nice mural. We're surpassing the local smoke shop right now. You can get like lighters and bongs and pop and all these other different things in there. Usually an interesting person sitting outside asking for change. I don't really give my change to interesting people. I give my change to buskers and stuff like that. And people who actually work for it. Of course, there's other things, like there's the audiophile store here. It's a record store. And a music store called Bone Rattle Music. And then the Canterbury Tales bookstore. Passing the Prado Cafe. We're going to continue going north on the drive. See, the Prado is full too. Lots of different people in here working, doing different things. Some students studying. It looked like someone was writing a program. And another person was editing a video. So you can see, even though it's a working class neighborhood, and it's a hipster neighborhood, and it's a place that affluent people like to come to enjoy the stores, there's a lot of creatives here as well, and I've said that before. And the coffee shops in the area really provide a place where people can come and just gather as a collective so that they can work together to solve interesting problems. So it looks like we can continue to go. This is East 2nd Street right here that we're crossing, and we're going to continue north on the drive, or Commercial Drive. There's, if you need to do your taxes, here's Canada Tax. Tax season is upon us. So just remember to do your taxes. I just got my T4s, so I'll be filing those, and of course filing also what I make through YouTube as well. So there's thrift stores. This is a Greek store. It's got cheese pies and stuff like that. It's got lots of other stuff as well. Of course, we're passing the local social. Doesn't look so social right now. Looks like there might be a private event in there. Good on them for getting a private event. Passing Continental Coffee now, and we're going to cross East 2nd, so that must have been East 3rd back there. Still learning the streets, don't have them totally dedicated to memory yet. Of course, that will take some time. I'm passing the Sally Lemon, it's a Mexican shop. That's something I find that's interesting here in Vancouver. Well, Toronto boasts to have a lot of Latino people, or Latin people. There seems to be a heck of a lot more of them over here, which ends up with a great combination of different restaurants, and even fusion with some of the Asian restaurants. So, thank you for choosing to settle in Vancouver, folks. If Mintage is your store, here's one of those stores right here. It's really just a thrift store, but there's another one downtown on Robson Street. So it is a bit of a chain. Of course, once you pass the pet store here, I can see, look at this. This place is actually full. That's good. And then there's the red burrito. It looks like it's fogged up right now. Such is life. So this is East First Ave and Commercial Drive. And if you headed that direction on East First Ave, eventually you'd end up back in the downtown. But you have to go through the neighborhood of Strathcona, of course, once you exit this neighborhood. And the neighborhood that the drive's in is called Grandview Woodland. Of course, there is a Grandview Street and the Woodland Street, so that's why I'm assuming it's called that. But so very cool. Of course, there's the Il Mercato Mall right here at the local Van City. If you happen to be a customer of that bank, you'd probably be going there if you lived around here. And of course, because we are in a bit of a working class neighborhood, there's also a money tree, just in case people need to cash their checks early. I remember using something like a money tree all the way back when I was a teenager and I was working in Huntsville, Ontario in the tourist sector. It was handy because they didn't have my bank in the neighborhood, so I could at least get some money. That was just one summer. A long time ago. Of course, this is the Drive Pharmacy we're passing right now. Looks like Van City Fried Chicken's closed for today. Here's one of those produce stores. It's definitely worth checking out different produce stores throughout the city because they generally usually have better prices than some of the grocery stores, even at No Frills.
30, -40.
The only, and that's a local thrift store, as I've been told. But like an upscale thrift store. So don't think that you're going to go in there and get a super cheap deal. Think of it more as, a Value Village boutique, but even a higher level than that. So we're crossing Gravely now. And we're going to continue on the drive. Hey. You can check yourself out on Jerome Forestwood on YouTube. These Vancouverites, so chill. Gotta love it. Passing the local BC liquor store. This one's a little bit of a larger one, so sometimes you can find a few things in the cold zone that you couldn't find if you went to a smaller liquor store. So if you're looking for something like an Imperial Stout, that might be one of the places that you want to check. Of course, I like getting my Imperial Stout from Steamworks over at the Denman liquor store. And we're crossing Grant Street right now, Commercial Drive. Grant's got a little bit of a zigzag in it, so you can see. Doesn't exactly match up. And you can see that often in Toronto if you're downtown, but along the drive here, you also have that. A lot of streets are connected, but there's a bit of a zigzag in them when they come to the drive. Passing Vera's on the drive. It's a burger shack. It's a bit of a chain with Vera's as well. You can find some of that stuff, I believe, in Kitsilano. And a few other places around here. So definitely worth checking out. And of course, we'll go to the other side of the street and we'll check out some of the restaurants and stuff over there in a few minutes. And the other side of the street isn't going to be as busy, but it still has interesting shops and stuff like that. Most of the people when they're on the other side are just in the restaurants. This side where the bus tends to get off is where you see a lot of people because they're planning on going to the subway station afterwards. So we're crossing Kitchener Street right now and continuing north on the drive. Passing a Famoso, which is the pizza place, and Rosemary Rock Salt, which is a bagel place. Of course, you got your services like print and design. They're actually open today. Oh, that's Smoke and Vape's open today. And of course, here's the Santa Barbara Market. Another produce store. $1.99 a pound for Roma tomatoes and $1.39 for avocados each. I'll let you be the judge of that. Don't usually buy avocados, but I know some people that do love them, like my mom. She's always cracking one of those things open, taking the giant pit out. So I believe this is Caleb Street. Might not be pronouncing that right. We're going to continue north on the drive here. Gonna have to look that street name up in the map. Of course, we'll see it on the other side too when we turn around, so we can check it out then. See if I got it right from a distance. Of course, people here are looking to get into this busy restaurant, OCA. Interesting. That's obviously a place to go. And of course, over here is one of the local bars. Can't remember the name of this, but if I can see the sign on the outside, I'll read it for you. This one's very popular with the locals. So this is called the Havana. Makes sense. Whole Cuban motif around it. That's nice to see. And then of course Puff, which is a bit of it's a clothing store and a bong store. So if you're into bongs like my bay is, you can go over there and enjoy that. Of course, here's Joe's right here on the local staples. Never really too busy, but there always seems to be a few people in and around it. And there's a pool at the back. And a whole bunch of different thrift stores here and clothing stores like Wanderer. They sell knickknacks and souvenirs as well. And the Gately, which is a lifestyle store, sells different things like clothes, candles, all that different type of stuff. My sister would probably love that store. Note to myself, don't take my sister to Gately or we won't be getting out for a long time. Well, that might be a good thing. The weather continues to be cold. And then Taman to go, Palestinian cuisine. It's usually a little bit darker in there, but I've heard a few good things about it from the neighborhood. So check it out. We'll eventually check it out ourselves. And here we are right here. So I'm just going to cross the street. And I'm going to turn right here. Okay. And we'll be able to go back. Of course, you can see another one of those grocery stores across the street. Choices on the drive or from Choices Market. And we're going to cross right now. There's the rest of the drive. You can explore that yourself if you want. And that means you just got to come down here, whether you live here, around here, or you visit. So we just crossed Napier Street, and we're going to continue south on Commercial Drive now. And we'll be able to double check those street names on this site, where they tend to have the street signs more readily available. Passing Sweet Cherubim. Looks like a bit of a cafe. So if that's your jam, worth checking out. Of course, here is one of the local community health centers. It's got like doctors and nurses and different things, and a primary care unit, stuff like that. So if you're in the area and you need urgent care, that's one of the places you'd probably go. Then there's Dilly Dally Toys and Delight for the kids here. And of course the Thai Basil. And you'll see other Thai Basils in Kitsilano, on West Broadway. So it's a chain, it's around. So we're going to cross William Street here and continue south on the drive. Back to the bus stop where the UBCB line is. Looks like the snow is picking up a bit. So that's probably going to be fun for you folks. Looks like my battery is a little low. So let's get the backup out. And let's hope we still have a charge. Yeah, I got a little bit of a charge, so we'll see how long that charge takes us for. I've been filming a series of videos today, A, because it's snowing, and B, because I got a bit of a work project I got to focus on in the next few days. Then I'll be able to sneak back out and continue filming on the regular schedule again. So here's Charles right here. I think I called it Chiclet before. It is Charles. And the local chai wagon. You can see another chai wagon, I believe, at Cambie Street and West 7th. Of course, this is the intersection of the Drive and Charles. Okay, let's cross. This is Mum's the Word that we're coming up on right here. It's a bit of a brew and cafe. It's got couches and different stuff in it. And velveteen vintage. Very cool. And then a Mexican place. Bay will probably want to check that out after he watches the video. Of course, High Life Music's here. And this one also has CDs, so it's not just a record store. And I know some people prefer CDs now, so if you're into CDs, that's one of the places you can go to pick up some CDs. Okay, with music on it and stuff like that. People's Co-op Bookstore, we're going to pass right now. See that there. So you see a lot of the shops in here. You would also see similar style of shops if you happen to be either in Bloordale or Bloor Court Village in at the top of Toronto, or not at the top of Toronto, the top of downtown Toronto, or just outside of downtown Toronto in the Dufferin Grove area. Or if you were in Kensington Market, of course. Would be another place that's similar to the Drive from Toronto. And I'm just giving these comparisons to Toronto because I do have a lot of fans from Toronto who just want to understand, what's similar between Vancouver and Toronto. Hopefully that helps you plan your trip. I do recommend, if you live in Toronto, come out to Vancouver and enjoy a little bit of the West Coast. And if you choose to stay, hey, great. Like I've said previously, I myself was transferred for work from Toronto to Vancouver, so that's why myself and my partner are here. This is the Charlton. It's a bar. Now we're passing Angelo's Tailors. And of course the local Fido store. And that's where you'll find a lot of Rogers deals if you're a Rogers customer. Look for a Fido. There isn't as many actual Rogers stores out here. Of course, when the Shaw Rogers deal, if it happens to go through, happens, maybe you'll see a few more Rogers stores. But I have a hankering and heard a rumor that Rogers is just going to keep Shaw and just run it as another outreach of its company. So we'll see what happens. Of course, that'll all be a business decision for those big business people to decide. Passing the dime right now. It's like, it's actually like if you went to Sneaky D's in Toronto. That's what the dime's like. Dive bar, graffiti written all over the place, stuff like that. So now we're passing Gravely Street in Little Italy, continuing south on the drive. Of course, here is one of the other Babylons you can go to if you need to get your Babylon fix. You find these on Denman Street, on Davie Street. So they're all over the place. Of course, that one looks closed today. Unlike in Toronto, where the stores would stay open, the stores in Vancouver sometimes start to shut down when the snow gets a little heavier. The snow is starting to pick up, but it doesn't look like it's sticking to the ground yet. So we'll see what stays open and what chooses to close down a little early. Passing the Il Mercato Mall right here. It just has a few different stores in it. It's not a big mall. More like indoor plaza. But it still provides some of those critical services like a grocery store, the bank, and all that kind of stuff. So we're back to East First Ave, and let's continue south on the drive. Look at that traffic back up. Wow. That's a long line of cars. Of course, this is the local Royal Bank right here. So if you happen to be a customer of the Royal Bank and you lived around here, and this would be where you go, probably. Something that's really cool about this street is that once in a while you can see these old signs that stick out, like the Star Weekly tobacco sign right here from the Grandview Smoke Shop. And they tend to just keep them installed. Just because it does look cool and it gives a little bit more of a vibe. Of course, we're passing local pawn shop and the deli. The deli's pretty busy today, folks. Here's the Kush Club if you need to get your cannabis. I think that's one of the first cannabis shops I've seen down here. So Vancouver does a really good job spreading out its cannabis shops as opposed to if you were in Toronto. But I find it funny that there's a whole bunch of different music stores here and pawn shops that specialize in musical instruments here that are all close together. It's like the bike stores and heavy biking areas here in Vancouver. Like on 4th Avenue. Of course, we just crossed East 2nd, and we're going to continue south on Commercial Drive. Here's Rufus is right here. And you can see a little bit inside. Specialize in guitars and basses and stuff like that. Of course, there's the bar, the Park Drive. And we'll continue south on Commercial Drive right now. Looks like the snow's picking up. So there you go, folks. You get to see a rare event here in Vancouver. You can get to see snow. Of course, if you are into Jamaican food, there's Smoke and Spice that's here, and it's a Jamaican shop. It's Rhythm and Spice, and I actually tried their goat curry and their oxtail from this place, and it is on point. Better than a lot of places in Toronto. But they don't serve, when they serve rice and peas, they serve it with a salad as well, which is a very Western thing to do, I find. Not so much of an island thing. But hey, if they gotta make money and people want salads, I'd still say give them salads. Faye likes to get on the scooter and come down here. So you can see Rhythm of Spice right there. That's a really on point restaurant. Okay. Looks a little slow in there, but trust me, people constantly go in and out of that place grabbing food. So it is about 4 o'clock in the afternoon right now. Let's check my clock just to make sure. Yeah, it's 4:52. So of course people aren't going to pick up on that yet. If you do need to come down, and there's the Afro hair studio that's right next to it. So if you need to get any kind of weaves or stuff like that, if you're a client who gets that kind of stuff, that's down here too. So that serves the local community. So, you know, definitely keep that in mind if you come down here. Of course, here's the Van Fade Barbershop across the street. And we're at East 4th right now, Commercial Drive. But like that goat curry that I had from Rhythm and Spice, I'm still gagging about it. Of course, you can hear me right now. I'm gagging about it. It's real on point. Reminds me of the curry I get from some place like Rasta Pasta back in Kensington Market in Toronto. And I would say it rivals Tropical Joe's from the Gerrard Centre on the east side of Toronto in Leslieville. So down here there's a few like denture clinics and dental places that are all gathered here together. There's a nice little flower shop down here too. Okay, called the Blossom Market. On Valentine's Day, I'm sure there's people going in there being like, "Can I get a rose?" And they were probably like, at one point in time, "Yep," and then another point in time, "Sorry, we're out." So crossing East 5th now. That's a cool mural too. I love Vancouver artwork. It doesn't get covered up with the graffiti like the ones in Toronto. Something that tends to be popular down here, massage stores. Or massage chair stores, actually. You can see a lot of those over in Richmond at some of the different malls in Richmond too. So it seems to be really popular here in Vancouver. Don't see those massage chairs as often in Toronto. Once in a while you might see one in the mall and stuff like that where you put a coin in it, but you don't see actual stores where you can buy the whole unit for your own home. Very Vancouver thing. There's another one of those neon signs that shows where one of the bowling alleys is. This one's called Grandview Lanes. And we're coming up to East 6th right now. Grandview Lanes is busy. Wow. Of course it is snowing outside. Look at that giant mural outside of the Legion. Look at the work that went into that. Nice. course, this is the Legion right here. And this is the Granville Collingwood branch, 179. So if the Legion is your jam, especially for our vets, that's where it's located. And thank you for helping protect our country and trying to keep peace in the world. Love the vets. Used to, when I was a kid, enter this contest for Remembrance Day, and you'd draw different pictures, and there'd be cash prizes and stuff like that. Like one of the times, one of my pictures got on cover of one of the magazines, and I was all stoked about it and got $100. It also helped me connect and build a relationship with the vets in the area from where I grew up as a kid, back in Toronto. Of course, we're passing the City Avenue Market, and this is the Commercial Drive edition. So, of course, you can... Ooh, the snow's starting to stick to the ground here. That's a sign I should probably start heading back to the west side. But City Avenue is a bit of a Chinese grocer and produce store, and it's got really good prices, so it's worth coming down here to check it out. There's one in Kitsilano that we frequent very often. And this is the East Van side. Of course, we're passing Fresh Flowers and the Habano Tobaccist. And we're back down to North Grandview and Commercial Drive. Wow, look at the snow pick up. That's cool. That's very, very cool. I'm going to cross, of course, right here. Oh, here we go. We cross. This is where the 99 gets off when it's coming to Commercial Broadway. And I'm going to show you where the 99 gets on. Okay? Which is around the corner. According to Google Maps, of course. Commercial Broadway station. It's also a SkyTrain station. And it has connections to the Millennium Line and the Expo Line. So there's the Millennium Line connection you can see right there. And is coming in the SkyTrain. And that'll take you all the way out to Coquitlam. And that's what I find really handy about living in Vancouver, is that it has greater connections to other cities beyond it. A lot like you'd see in Toronto if you're using the GO line. But it's not buses, it's actual trains. And there isn't as many trains on the other side. Of course, there's Commercial Broadway station right here. There isn't as many trains as in Toronto. Here's the local Donair Dude over here. I tried the Donair Dude back in Kitsilano, in Greektown, and it was right on point too. So flavorful. I got the lamb, and I got my bay, of course, the beef. And he really enjoyed that too, so it's worth checking out. Here's the local blends. If I was in this area and needed a coffee, and this is where I would come, or even more, this is where I'd come if I want a mochaccilla. This is one of the bus bays right here. This will give you the 9 Alma. But apparently there is another bus bay down here that I'll need to go to catch the 99. So we'll see. And there's another entrance to Commercial Broadway station. And there's a few restaurants in there, and it spills out onto a Shoppers Drug Mart as well. Which is handy for my friends who live down here and along the drive, or in and around the drive. So this is where the 99 gets on, and this will take you all the way to UBC, and it's the 99B line. So if you need to get on and you have to be from on the drive, this is the place to come. Of course, you can also get off Commercial Drive, Broadway Station on the other side, and there's a Safeway right next to it. So you can shop there if you want. Of course, I'd probably go to City Avenue myself for the cheaper prices. But anyway, folks, thanks for watching, and remember to share, like, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you later. Have a good day.